Good evening all. It's that time of year again where artificial lights become a bigger part of our life, unfortunately. And it's always better if we can get more natural daylight in our life. There was some creepy study that was done, not creepy, but it's crazy study that was done in the US where they found that the average person spends 95% of their day indoors when we are outdoor creatures. It's crazy. But are there any positives to having to use more artificial light? And depending on how you think about it, potentially yes. Because you see now the hue that I am under is red. And that is because I have a red light over in that corner there. I also have a red light of a red strip of LEDs going towards my bathroom and my bedroom. Those are the only two lights on in my house right now. I have a red light in here and a red strip light, not a strip light, a red strip of LEDs that go basically from outside my kitchen to my bathroom, my bedroom, and down the stairs to the door. And is that important? It is important. Both location and wavelength of light are very important in order to allow your body to understand what time of day it is. And I've said this many times before. The more we can have a reduction in blues and greens and cyans, the less of a stimulus the specific photoreceptors in the eye get stimulated. The less of a stimulus they have if you remove most of the blues and the greens and the cyans. But the other thing you want to know about is the more we remove lights from over our head, so the ceiling lights, lights that are tall, very high on the wall, again, the less stimulus there is for those particular photoreceptors in the eye. And so when it comes to darkness, when it comes to nighttime, when it comes to evening time, increase the amounts of reds and oranges, soft yellows, etc., and reduce the amounts of blues, greens, cyans, and reduce the height of your lighting. And that will help signal to your body and your brain that it is getting towards nighttime, and it'll allow your natural melatonin levels to rise. Now, everybody's melatonin levels rise slightly differently depending on when you wake up, a lot of it. But once you understand lighting, both location and color, you can start to adapt your lighting and adapt the lighting in your home to suit who lives in your home. So if you've got adults that go to bed at midnight, then you can adjust the lighting at an hour and a half or 2 hours or 3 hours before that, in order for you to get into the right frame of mind for when you go to bed. If you've got kids, you can adapt the lighting. You can adapt the lighting so they are in a better frame of mind, they are more relaxed, their melatonin levels are slightly higher, therefore they're feeling slightly more sleepy, therefore bedtime routine is slightly better. And then, but what you want to realize is if you have these red lights on here and there, what do you do when you go into the bathroom? Now I have the same thing. I have a red light in the bathroom. Now, is that great for doing your makeup, looking to see how you look like in the morning? I don't really care what I look like, so that doesn't really have an issue for me. But I have two lights. I have a white light and I have a red light. So the white light can go on in the morning, but the red light goes on in the evening because, again, I'm not looking at myself. That might be a different priority for you, but that's something you've got to realize. But one of those things that we see is when we go to the bathroom, we put these big, bright white lights on, which are perfect for putting makeup on and checking your face during the day. It's the worst kind of light that we can have when we go to bed. And so having two separate lights, and it can be a very small red light, because you don't need bright lights when you're brushing your teeth or going to bed. But it can really stun your senses if you have these bright overhead lights on. And so we can adapt our lighting environment to suit our family needs, and that's the one beneficial thing about having more use of artificial lights as we go into autumn and winter. And then again, I've said again about temperature and how important that is, stress relief and de-stressing before bed, what you eat, what you drink before bed, because there is a connection between melatonin and blood sugar levels. There's a connection between eating and melatonin, obviously, because we're not designed to eat whilst we're asleep. But that leads me on to this interesting part of what I'm going to talk about now, and that is 3 things which I've tried to improve sleep quality or quantity. And I've tried all 3 of them. 2 of them I'm not particularly a fan of. 1 of them I am a massive fan of. So those 3, they're not supplements. They are completely normal, everyday things. Well, 1 isn't, but 2 are. Right, chamomile tea, tart cherry juice, and my absolute favourite for quality and quantity of sleep, kiwi fruit. So most people have heard about chamomile tea and its impressive ability for relaxation, and that is true. And the studies also seem to back that up. Even more so if you look at the derivative of chamomile tea, which is something called apigenin, which you can get in a supplement form. That seems to be fairly positive on sleep quality. Not in everybody, but in some people, yes. But I've never tried the supplement form, but I have tried chamomile tea. I'm not a massive fan of chamomile tea, so for me that wasn't something that I would do regularly, but it has been shown to be effective. Tart cherry juice is something that I have every so often, partly through the antioxidants, but also partly because of the improvements in sleep quantity, I think. So that's in my fridge. But my favourite by far is kiwi fruit. Now, kiwi fruit is slightly different in as far as we know how kiwi fruit works. And kiwi fruit works on the neuromodulator GABA. And it increases the amount of GABA in the brain. And what GABA is if you think of neuromodulators, so neuromodulators are basically the things that press the accelerator or the brake. They're your traffic lights. Green, go, 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 and GABA is basically red. So stop, relax, calm down. And so they found out in studies on mice that if you block the GABA receptors, then taking kiwi fruits doesn't do anything. But if you then unblock the GABA receptors, then kiwi fruit can increase subjective feelings of sleepiness. But not only that, it improved or increased both sleep quality and sleep quantity in humans. And what's the other great thing about kiwis? A lot of people like kiwis. Even kids like kiwis. So I have done that quite a few times, and I found it to be really quite effective in terms of that relaxation, that sleepiness. My sleep latency, or the amount of time that it takes me to fall asleep, is pretty regular anyway. So I wasn't going to see much, but just the relaxation and the feeling of kind of contentedness and just ready for bed, I loved. And if you like kiwis anyway, then I would highly recommend that you have your kiwi as something that you have maybe 2 or 3 hours before bed. Have some kiwis as dessert or something after your dinner and see whether it works for you. Now, obviously, I am not a doctor and therefore I can't prescribe anything. Those three things, chamomile tea, tart cherry juice and kiwis, you might want to look onto the studies based on those. You might want to just try it out on yourself. I don't know. I can't tell you what to do, and nor should I tell you what to do. But if you are serious about adapting your environment in order to improve your circadian rhythm or improve your sleep quality, and the humongous benefits and positives that has on your health and well-being, whether we're talking about the light, whether we're talking about temperature, whether we're talking about stress, whether we're talking about eating and drinking, those things can all have a hugely positive effect. And those three things that I mentioned, chamomile tea, tart cherry juice and kiwi fruit, might just top it off very nicely. So yes, if you've got a kiwi, why don't you go and eat it now? Have a great evening. Enjoy